Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Old Hunt, where we are celebrating 10 years plus of Bloodborne by playing through version 1.00 of the game in Japanese. And I left off last time with a little bit of a cliffhanger. We're going to talk to the person behind this window and see what's going on.
Who are you? I don't know your voice, but I know that smell. Are you a hunter? Please go look for my mum. Daddy never came back from the hunt, and she went to find him, but now she's gone too. I'm all alone and scared.
Well, we could either not search for the girl's mother, or we could search for the girl's mother. Let's keep an eye out.
Really? Oh, thank you. My mum wears a red jeweled brooch. It's so big and beautiful. You won't miss it. Oh, I mustn't forget. If you find my mum, give her this music box. It plays one of Daddy's favourite songs, and when Daddy forgets us, we play it for him so he remembers. Mum's so silly running off without it.
Some interesting information there. Daddy forgets us? The music brings him back? We've been identified as a hunter primarily by our smell? So, what's going on here? This is, I think I really like this little storyline. I mean, just a spoiler warning, a lot of the storylines in Bloodborne are quite tragic. So, this one might turn out not so great. But I really think that it's emblematic for how the people at FromSoft tell stories in these sorts of games. And it is its own little microcosm, I think, of their general approach to storytelling, including the fact that, spoilers, it's going to have a little bit of a tragic end. I guess depending on your interpretation, I interpret it tragically, but then I tend to be a fan of tragedies. But let's not just stop at the little girl's door. Let's also knock on the other doors around town, including this one.
I don't reckon you're from round here. Well, stuck outside on a night of the hunt. Oh, you poor, poor thing.
Alright, I think this just repeats.
I don't reckon you're from where.
Yeah. Yep, okay. That just repeats. And I don't know if I showed this off before, but if you break through these coffins here and head down this way, you can see the cages where some of the dogs were locked up, and one of them just glitched onto the top of, and look, there's a dead dog carcass right over there. So we are, in fact, standing at the point where you can sort of take a branching path that's been a little bit hidden out of sight. Another hallmark of FromSoft design, which, as I was saying before, sort of characterizes this first area, among other things. But we're not done. Hey, wait a minute. Shouldn't that enemy be dead? Why am I hearing a knocking sound? If the enemy's not dead, we can fix that. We can make sure the enemy is dead. Is there an enemy knocking at this door? I thought I... Oh, whoops. Is this... Is this a 1.00 thing, or is this a, general Bloodborne issue? I have no idea. There's literally no one that could be knocking on that door right now, and yet I was hearing a knocking sound as if someone's behind it, trying to break through. Is it gone? It's gone. That's weird. Did my going over that other side in the little bar that goes across these doors that was here before is gone? I do not understand. I'm just gonna say that's a 1.00 thing, because that was super weird, and I don't remember that happening in any other playthrough of mine. So, I don't know. If you're more familiar with the differences between 1.00 and so on, please let me know about that. Yes, please do, because on reviewing this footage in editing mode, I discovered things are even weirder than I realized while playing the game. Remember how I was talking about that little bar being missing? Well, here's some footage of me first approaching the door back in episode 2. Contrast that with an image from about a minute ago, and you'll see that not only is the bar gone, but so are the metal rings. The real kicker, though, is that if you look closely at this freeze frame from when I checked to see if the big enemy that had been banging on the doors was dead, you can see that all of these objects, the metal bar and the circular handles, appear to be visible on the backside of the door. This is actually the state they were left in after I defeated that big enemy, as this screenshot from just after I killed him shows. So my current theory is that my running over to the front side of the door was supposed to trigger another swap of these fittings to where they were initially, but instead it set off the door shaking event. Regardless of whether that's true or not, though, I thought that was a fun set of details to point out that are probably unique to version 1.00. Anyway, now I'll let Gameplay Matt get on with enjoying the sunset. Oh, and check it out. This is something I can't believe I haven't mentioned yet, but it is a setting sun. So this is another... Oh, and I forgot. These enemies are alive. Let's take care of that problem. Yeah, don't mind me. I'll just deal with that situation. And it goes to... It's going to be one of the things we're going to see the time progresses in Bloodborne. It's another one of the ways that the story sort of happens around us in this game, as opposed to the earlier entries. But let's get back to knocking on doors.
How's your come on? You'd open the door on a night of the hunt. Away with you. Now.
And I'm pretty sure this is another repeat.
How's your come on? Away.
Yeah. I think there's one door. Maybe I'm thinking of a different part of the game. But I think there's one door where if you repeat the dialogue, you get something a little bit different. Good.
Are you that outsider? Well, sorry, but I don't want anything to do with you. Trot along, will ya? Are you that? Well, trot.
I must be thinking of a different point in the game. Oh well. But I'm glad we got those Molotov cocktails. This is something that I didn't really mention before, but I talked about wanting to conserve them. That's because, let's see if I can bring it up in the stats. Is this where I see it? I don't know. Where do I... Oh, yeah, here we go. This is the central screen here. So, is that... Yeah, I'm not making things up. So you see on the antidotes here that... which, interesting translation choice in its own right. I've talked about this before, but literally the Japanese there is white medicinal tablets. Whereas the official translation was a little bit more purpose-focused. Perhaps a relic of an earlier version of the Japanese that got updated in the English didn't. I don't know about that one. There are others that I think you can see that trend a little bit more clearly. So total question mark for me on this one. It could be a deliberate translation choice. I wouldn't blame them if it was very gameplay-focused to talk about antidotes, counteracting poison, very gamey. And if you go into the full description, I believe in the official English, they also mention that, yeah, these are technically just white medicinal tablets. But anyway, I got sidetracked. If you look at the sort of middle row there, there's no stats relevant for their ability modification. I don't know exactly how that's translated, but the ways that it interacts with your ability, scales with your ability. And if I come down here, we have a D scaling in strength and an A scaling in arcane. Our character has a good deal of arcane. And now that I'm looking at it, 10 strength, I mean, not a very high value, but not super low either, so that's kind of nice. But so as our strength and arcane go up, the damage that the Molotov cocktails will do also goes up. And that's important, especially on an arcane based character. The A scaling in arcane means we're going to benefit a lot from damage to the Molotov cocktail. At least if that indication screen is to be believed. I don't know. There are some people who've gone through and really mathed out absolutely everything. They've uncovered what the difference is between the different ranks of scaling, and they've found the precise modifiers. And for all I know, the A scaling on a Molotov cocktail is not the same as the A scaling on this cane or this gun. I'm not really sure. But anyway, having talked to all of these people... whoops, this is the wrong staircase, I think. Or is it? I went up pretty high. This might be the right staircase. Oh, it was the right staircase. Haha! But yeah, having talked to a lot of people and gotten that tiny music box, and having gotten our general sort of story information from Gilbert, I think, and fully explored just about this area, I think it's time we headed back to the dream and got ready for battle. So I'm going to actually start cutting some loading screens so you won't have to deal with the Bloodborne text just being up on the screen for an inordinate length of time, and I will see you back in the Hunter's Dream. Okay, and now that we've returned to the Hunter's Dream, something's different. The doll, this was just an abandoned doll over here, is now standing around, and we can talk to the doll. This is not how we left this place. And also, if we come up here, yes, that's what I thought. Our good old buddy, our good old advisor, Gehrman, he's gone. Nowhere to be seen. Sometimes, oh, and I don't think I've showed off this area of the dream at all. I hardly ever come back here, quite frankly. Oh, we found him! There we go, sleeping peacefully. So, just having a bit of a nap out in the garden. He doesn't always appear here. Sometimes he's just gone, and you can't find him at all. And if we talk to him, yeah, that's what I thought. It repeats the snoring thing. Which, interesting, I've talked about this in Translation Born as well, but I think it's an interesting translation choice. We'll see it also in some of the doll's dialogue. In the Japanese, they have these little sounds. In this case, it's ku, which is indicating the snoring sound that we're getting in the actual audio. And you see that little black bar that shows it at the bottom of the screen. In the English, the black bar pops up, but I don't think they put in any text. So you just get this little black bar that indicates that you've got that dialogue going and you hear the sounds, which I think is an interesting approach. I mean, they could have put in for the sleeping sounds, they could have put in like ZZZ or something like that if they wanted to. But there are other sounds. I don't know if necessarily this comes up in Bloodborne, but there are a lot of sound effects in Japanese for things that don't really have sound effects in English. And if you start trying to put in onomatopoeia, it can become a huge hassle. And manga translators have to deal with this a lot. And I have a lot of respect for people who take their time and have to deal with all those different potential issues with translating sound effects and potentially coming up with their own. So, yeah. Anyway, we have a opportunity here to interact with the messengers of this stump. And unfortunately, we get a similar message here as we got at the Insight Bath, where we have, it's connected, it appears to be connected to a or the nightmare, but the messengers are nowhere to be seen. Intriguing. And just gameplay-wise, that particular bath over there, or not bath, stump over there, will allow you to place certain items that will allow you to have sort of an aesthetic effect on the messengers when they show up. But, alright, how do I want to level up this character? This is what we get to find out now. Oh, and I forgot. Might as well accept the gift of the messengers here. This might be another potential pun. I'm a little bit less sure of this one, so might need to edit in myself later on, correcting me in the past here. And it's a good thing, too. I was thinking of how if you represent okuru with one kanji, it can refer either to sending someone or something off. Whereas if you represent it with another kanji, it specifically refers to giving a gift. Obviously, this situation involves the messengers giving us a gift, but I thought the Japanese might be employing a double meaning to get at the idea of an offering to the dead, which would fit my crazy lore theory. However, it turns out this specific form of okurimono just means gift, so that was pure wishful thinking on my part. Okay, thanks future me for editing in the appropriate pun. Let's see, what is this? The Hunter Calling Bell. You use insight to ring the bell and gain the cooperation of hunters in an other world or potentially other worlds. I'm pretty sure other worlds is just the correct one here because this is a reference to the online feature. Everyone who is playing this game has their own world, and the sounds of bells resonates across worlds, and you can cooperate with others. It's sort of the way that in this game they've set up the unique Soulsborne online mechanic. Although less unique these days than I think it used to be. And what is this? We also get the silencing blank, I believe is the official translation. And yeah, the resonance disrupting blank gun, right? So silencing blank basically is just a better way of saying the same thing. And that ends the cooperation. So we get those, so now we can play with the online community. If in fact I was playing online, I am not connected to the internet in order to play 1.00. So there's that. And I was thinking about how to level up my character, but I was reminded that I wanted to try in this playthrough to show off a whole host of different items. And we now have some options in the shop. Where do those options come from? This eluded me for a very long time. Probably longer than was reasonable, because it shows that I wasn't necessarily paying as close attention as I maybe should have been paying attention to. But we can see here on this particular badge, the Saw Hunter badge. And badge is another thing where I think the localizers knocked it out of the park. The literal kanji that is involved here, we have Karyuru, which means hunter, and then it's Sho, or Akashi on its own, which is proof. So it's like a hunter verification, proof of being a hunter, but it takes the form, as you can see from the image, of like a physical thing that you hold up to identify yourself. What's a physical thing you hold up to identify yourself? It's a badge. It's a hunter badge. It's a verification that shows that you're a hunter, right? The whole idea just comes across much more clearly and succinctly in the official translation. But as we can see from this badge, hold on, gameplay Matt. I'm going to cut in here and save us a lot of time by reading out my own quick and dirty literal translation. A hunter badge once issued by the workshop. Proof of being a beast-hunting hunter acknowledged by the workshop. At this point, there is no workshop, nor is there any organization that seeks this badge, but the messengers in the bath alone are likely to find meaning in it. It seems they have things which are best handed over specifically to hunters who have this badge. Right. Now back to gameplay, Matt, for the main point. So that's sort of supposed to get at the idea that, hey, maybe if you show this proof of your being a hunter to the messengers in the bath, hi, it's these guys, they'll have something in particular for a hunter who possesses it that they wouldn't have just to offer just anyone else. So, what that means is now we have access to all of these starter weapons, and this other one that we found just running around. It's not showing up as... Okay, here it is. It is showing up in our possessions. You can see we have one of one. We can also put one of them in storage, but I am not looking to put... Not looking to put one of those in storage. I already have one. We've also got one threaded cane, but I did want to pick up the hunter axe and the hunter... I forget what Nokogiri Nata is. It's super... This is like a super basic hunter thing, but whatever. I'm not gonna rack my brains about it. I think you can also... I don't think you even need a badge for this. This is the gear I was talking about. So if you can just run around and die enough and collect 2,500 blood echoes, you can get this armor set, and it'll potentially make the city of Yharnam easier for you. I tend to be a bit of a completionist when I play video games, so I'm always tempted to buy this set, but I think right now we've got better things to be using our blood echoes on. So at this point, let's go ahead and talk to the doll, because this is how we level up.
Hello, good hunter. I am a doll, here in this dream to look after you. Honorable hunter, pursue the echoes of blood, and I will channel them into your strength. You will hunt beasts, and I will be here for you to embolden your sickly spirit. Did you speak with Gehrman? He was a hunter long, long ago, but now serves only to advise them. He is obscure, unseen in the dreaming world. Still, he stays here, in this dream. Such is his purpose.
think that's all we get for now.
Ah, the little ones, inhabitants of the dream. They find hunters like yourself, worship and serve them. Speak words they do not. But still, aren't they sweet?
Ooh, I was wrong in a big way. That's an important dialogue because it lets us know that those messengers that I've been talking about, they are actually residents of the dream. And let's see. Getting back to leveling up, you can raise your stats using blood echoes to level up. And that's why I was saying you don't necessarily spend them in the lore of the game. The doll specifically is channeling that sort of remaining will that inheres in blood to enhance our abilities.
Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes.
I really like how Bloodborne and basically all of the Soulsborne games take the time to sort of come up with why it's important to the fiction of the world and all these other the setting, just they tie in these things to the mechanics in a way that not every game does, right? And I do think there are concessions to gameplay even in these games, and that's important to bear in mind. But I really like how it's not just, oh, you're spending these things to level up and increase your... We're channeling the echoing will of the dead that inheres in blood that you have gathered by defeating foes in order to enhance your abilities somehow, right? It goes back to that whole thing in Demon Souls that I was talking about in, I think, the first episode, maybe, about how it's the soul arts in Demon Souls and how it's sort of maybe a bad thing that you're doing this. I don't think Bloodborne necessarily takes that same slant. It could. It's not really... I don't think it's as clear in Bloodborne as it is in Demon Souls. But the way that it puts it into the world of the game, I think is really cool. And I don't think I'm alone in that. But now it's time to make some hard choices. I definitely want to level up Arcane. The thing is about an Arcane build, and I've said this before, it takes a little bit to come online. And we don't really have anything that can make great use of it right now besides those Molotov cocktails I was talking about. So what do I want to do? I could go for more HP, but that hasn't slowed me down, and I don't feel the need for a lot more stamina right now. Strength. Skill would increase our visceral attacks, which is sort of one way we can tide ourselves over. The thing is, I'm terrible at visceral attacks. Absolutely terrible about them. And of course, it's I'm pretty hopeless when it comes to Blood Tinge. I think there's very little chance that, like, you sort of have to focus on this, and it's an even, I think, harder grind to build up your Blood Tinge build in Bloodborne. And I've done it. It's a lot of fun, but it's even more upfront work. So I think we're going to focus on our strong suit here, at least for one level. And then maybe build up... Oh, the other thing, though, is if I want to show off a bunch of weapons, I'm probably going to need to enhance these other abilities to a certain extent. So I think what I'm going to do is do something you're not supposed to do in these games and do a little bit of an everything build, sort of spread myself a little bit thin. Can I get these both to 12? I can't, and also level up Arcane. But I am okay with this spread. Again, I'm not feeling right now like I need more health or stamina. And getting these two up above 10, I think, is going to help me wield a wider range of weapons. I'll have to look this up in between episodes. And like I said, I'm just going to ignore Blood Tinge. Sorry, there are a few things where you need higher Blood Tinge. Maybe I'll get it to meet some minimum requirements if I really need to, because I do want to explore a bunch of weapon options in this playthrough. But I do like having my primary stat at 15. So I think we're going to go with this and live with the consequences. There are people who play this game who never level up at all. So I sort of always fall back on that.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
I love that translation. Just love it, right? Literally, it's something like, may your awakening be a significant one. And it's just so much more appropriate, I think, to the nature of Bloodborne to have it say instead, may you find your worth in the waking world. It, like, if you break down how, like, what it means, what's it mean to have a significant awakening, right? It's basically the same thing as finding your worth in the waking world, but the other ones just sound so great. Anyway, we've got a few blood echoes left over, and we need a few of them to level up our weapon. So let's keep that in mind. Let's see. Now, I could switch weapons at this point, because I haven't invested anything in the threaded cane yet. But I don't know. Let's see. In the future, when I've got a few more bloodstones, it's going to be easier for me to switch back and forth and not care so much. The lowest level of bloodstone in particular is not hard to find in this game, especially as you keep going on. But let's stick with the threaded cane. I haven't used this weapon too much, so let's give it some of the attention that I've sort of neglected for it in the past. All right. And having done that, I think it's time we face our first boss. Here we are back in Central Yharnam. Since we've opened up this shortcut, we can just run down here. And I like the length that the whip form will give me, so I can take this person out. There's a chance he will drop a Molotov cocktail. Look, there it is. Molotov cocktail. And I wanted to make sure I had those selected, and I do, which is good. And I believe if I come in here and stay quiet... Hold on, I have to deal with these people. But then, if I stay quiet and come over here... Okay, I think that's about all we're going to get for the incidental dialogue. I think it's really cool that you can have this little conversation over here between those enemies. Just shows you how dedicated the game is to portraying their sort of half-transformed state, right? You can... The fact that they can all sort of talk, right? You can see why I was trying to talk to them in my very first playthrough, is they all yell at you. And it's not like they've got, they're transforming, they're transformed, but they're not, you know, as I was saying, they're monsters, they're enemies, you gotta deal with them. But you can definitely see how they're, at the same time, they're not like, it doesn't seem like they're fully gone. They're concerned about, like, they're saying, I need to make it, right? They seem confused. It's a really cool point. At least I think it is. All right. And now we're back on this bridge. We've got, which presumably comes from either another major part of town that's this major thoroughfare, which is now clogged up with all this stuff. Or, let me switch back to my gun. Oops, I don't want the birds. Yep, I don't want the birds. I want you to charge me. Or jump, okay. Aw. I don't think I've shown it off, but if you, oops. Oh, there we go. Probably not as good of a demonstration as it could have been, but if you get that visceral attack after you've taken the damage... Oh, I should have healed first. Oh well. I'll be down some blood vials, that's okay. If you get that visceral attack, you instantly heal back all the damage that you could potentially rally. So, encourages the visceral even more. Alright, now... Am I going to do... Yeah, I'm going to do some blood bullets. And I'm going to keep my eyes up because I'm a big fan of this boss's entrance. Yeah, it just hops over the wall. Pretty cool. And continues to hop around. And I do not do much damage. Let's see. It's what, 76? Alright, 1, 2, 3. Nope. Took damage. Alright. Let's heal up. Dodge that. 1, 2, 3. Nope. Can't get that third hit in. I want 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. 137. Seemed a little bit lower than it was before, but that's okay. And let's dodge through here. What have we got? 1? Nope. Nope. Don't get... Oh, I got grabbed. Alright, I'm mashing the shoulder buttons because often in the Soulsborne games, I don't think they ever tell you this, but often that helps reduce damage. Alright. Is that another grab? It was another grab. I'm glad that grab missed. Okay, I will take this opportunity to heal. Now let's see if I can get 1, 2, 3. 132. So I think the whip is the way to go here. Oh. We have a complicating factor. Ooh. Alright. 440 is definitely more like it. Complicating factor in that I broke some of this boss's protective, I don't know, armor? You get limb breaks in this one, and if you can do damage to the head, you can set yourself up for a visceral. This boss is not stopped by bullets, which is why I haven't been bothering. I mean, there you go. Took some damage for you. I knew it wasn't going to work. And that sort of red light gathering is it healing itself. And I'm surprised. I think the benefit of the whip... Uh-oh. Mistimed it. Alright, turn back around, please. I've got the body, not the head. But the benefit of the whip, obviously, like I was saying, those Molotov cocktails, that's how I get my premium damage. This enemy jumps around enough that it's not exactly a sure thing. But if you can target the head, particularly after it's, dang it, rebuilt its armor, you can get it to sort of fall over and get the follow-up visceral. And I'm being greedy in trying to... Oops. I'm being greedy in trying to target the head with my Molotov cocktails. As you can see from how it moves and my inability to hit it. You can hit it a little bit more reliably, not the head, but you can hit the enemy more reliably if you aim down at the trunk of its body. But I don't think I want to use more than 5 Molotovs on this fight, so I'm going to switch back to my... Oop, I got grabbed again. So this one's going to hurt. Am I going to live? Nope, I'm dead. All right. We've got ourselves a boss, everyone. Oh, this is fun. This is so fun. I love this game. Haha! Get plunging attacked. Yeah, I'm the cursed beast. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to bother with these enemies. Let's get the torch out. And let's head back. Have I talked about the, like, Blood Echo grab thing? I don't think I have. Alright, I'm just going to ignore all of you. This is the other thing about Soulsborne games, is the bosses are tough, but generally you sort of respawn in the same general vicinity, and you can run back very quick. And if you don't feel like engaging with the combat system, it's usually fairly simple to run past enemies. So, yep. I don't think it'll work with this boss. I could be wrong. But there are some times... Oh, and I think the whip form was the way to go, actually. Yeah. Alright. Should I blood bullets that? I think it's not worth healing at this point. I think I'm just going to continue to attack. There we go. Got that head damage from the whip to set up another visceral. There we are. And let's get back here. We know that the whip form is better. Okay, got me with a backhand instead of a grab. I'll just stay far away so I don't get grabbed by that same thing that killed me last time. Oh, going at me with its fists. Okay. The one thing about this boss is it's sort of hard to keep track of. As you can see, the camera sort of goes crazy. Oop, I should have dodged ahead. Should Should have dodged ahead. I'm a coward. I know already that Bloodborne in general favors dodging forward and to the side. And this sort of gets back, it's another, once again, life or death struggle, right? Intense battles. You need the courage to dodge forward, to dodge, to throw yourself closer in, at least it seems like it's closer to danger. You actually wind up being safer. But if you try and back off, enemies have a lot more tools to punish you than if you go ahead and see, look at that. I got a stagger. I got massively rewarded for moving ahead and for pressing forward in an attack where otherwise, like, it looked like that fist was going to connect and really wreck my day. That's not what happened. And even though that happened, oops. All right, now I'm really getting pummeled. Now I'm really getting pummeled. I was trying to illustrate a point. Uh-oh. Alright, now I'm safe. But often the safest place you can be is, like, just behind an enemy, and the way that you get there is by dodging behind them. And particularly with that rally thing going on... Uh-oh. There we go. I'm just encouraged to attack, 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 and even if I take some damage, I can get past it, right? I can heal it back, and sometimes I get that extra stagger, particularly if it involves a limb break. So there's just all these things that push you towards a more intense fight where you're trading life for life. It's so good. It's so fun. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's the grab. Get behind. Get me behind. I need to heal. I should have taken that opening to use a blood vial. Alright, it's doing something slow again. Cool. Alright, there's a dodge. Uh-oh. This is a Cleric beast, by the way. I talk about all the boss names in Translation Born, so I'm really not going to go into any specifics for this, particularly with this one, because it's so straightforward. Yeah, this is the Cleric. Well, this was the Cleric beast. Ha 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 ha. I will take my victory. And since I already talked about the Sword Hunter badge, not the Sword Hunter badge, but Hunter badges in general, the way they work, that enemy dropping this badge lets you know that now I have access to more weapons in the dream at that bath shop, or at least potentially. More weapons, not in this case, yes, more weapons, also more items in general. And let's see, I think there are some bullets back here. Yeah, here we go. I'll pick up some bullets. What I really need are blood vials. And I'll probably have to go back to the dream and regroup. But yeah, there's a little bit more to say about this, but I've been going a little long. I wanted to get to the end of that satisfying boss battle. But I think this is a good place to call it for now, and I'll hopefully remember what I have in mind to talk about next time. So, as always, thank you all very much for joining me, and good hunting.